What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 20 podcast, where I have conversations about finding a mission and making an impact with people in their 20s. The aim is to encourage, inspire, and educate you to find your own mission and to make an impact. Today, I'm talking with Emeka.
Hey man, you good?
Yeah. And Emeka, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for coming in.
Man, thank you for having me, man. Thank you for this time.
It's all good. So, bro, talk to us now. What are you doing at the moment?
Well, right now I'm a medical student.
What year are you in?
So I would have been in my final year this year, but I'm taking a year out to do another degree.
Okay.
So I'm studying health management and leadership at the University of Birmingham. So I'm in my second semester, about to start my project that I'm excited about. But yeah, that's that, man. So
Yeah.
nearly at the end.
Cool, bro. How you feeling? We started at the same time. You're still there?
Bro, it's tough, because obviously when I came to uni, some of my boys, some of the boys came to uni as well, and then seeing everything change is crazy. I mean, I've been in uni so long that my brother started going to uni. He's 3-4 years younger than me, so times have changed, but now just got to finish off the degree, man. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm pumped as well, man.
Nah, yeah, for real, no, but big up yourself though, man. You know, it's not easy doing a mid degree, I'm sure. So
I've had a lot of all-nighters, recent all-nighters anyway. So
yeah, I know. We talked about that.
Yeah, but you know what you're here for, and the pain is temporary. So
yeah, definitely. What's been a thing that shocked you?
Shocked me about going to med school.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Something you weren't expecting.
I think everybody has this expectation that medicine is going to be busy, but you don't really know how busy it is until you're there. I remember seeing my timetable for the first time, and I thought, okay, this isn't that bad. Until I saw my friend's timetable, and I saw a lot of the free spaces that she had, compared it to my own, and I said, yeah, I'm in for it. You're in 9 to 5.
9 to 5 in uni?
Yeah, 9 to 5. This was first year, 9 to 5, and this was lecture after lecture after lecture after lecture, maybe an hour.
How are you doing a full-time job?
That's what we've been doing, man. That was my schedule. Apart from Wednesdays, you finished at 12. Otherwise, it was 9 to 5s. It was 9 to 5s, man. So the timing was crazy. I didn't think it would be that packed. Maybe it's just something that happens at the University of Birmingham because of the way that the style of medicine that we teach or the way that we teach it. But also, sometimes with some of the work, you realize that you can't do it by yourself. I remember this was just part of the work, just a little fragment of a lot of the things we had to do. And I remember the first time I tried to do it by myself, it took me 3 hours. And I said to myself, there's absolutely no way that this can go on, because if I just kept doing it by myself, what time would I have for myself? Imagine doing a 9 to 5 day and one of your pieces of work takes 3 hours.
Yeah, that's not sustainable.
Exactly. So something has to be done, and I realized that there's a lot of work. The thing is, medicine isn't actually difficult. It's voluminous. There's loads of things to cover, but it's not actually that difficult so long as you put your mind to it. And everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's trying to help each other. And when they know that things take long, we all come together and get through it. And in my year out, and I'm about to finish, so things have been going well.
Yeah. You make a good point though, because I'm sure medicine is obviously a very intense degree, intense study. But I think you make a good point that you can't just try and do it by yourself.
You can't, yeah. It's not possible to maintain. Well, it depends also what you want. If you just want to go to med school and get all the grades you want and that's all you want, fine. You could possibly do it by yourself. Okay. It would be very difficult for you to do it by yourself, but you could do it. If you're also trying to balance and have a social life, join societies, maybe do some charitable work, do some stuff outside of uni, it's not possible for you to do medicine by yourself and also to go and do those other things, keep a balance. So you need people. You need people. That was difficult for myself because I was just so used to doing things by myself, particularly during GCSEs and A levels.
Yeah, but it's an important lesson to learn. It's a life lesson, I think.
Therefore,
To learn how to bring in other people and work with other people. Like, it's something that I'm learning now in the world of like business and stuff. Like, you realize like if you do things by yourself, it's that saying, right? If you wanna go fast, do it by yourself. If you wanna go far, do it with others. Like, it's a case of if you don't know how to bring in others, you're gonna struggle. Like, you can't really make an impact, do really crazy things in the world in life unless you know how to work with other people and bring them in. So I think it's a good lesson you're learning at least to be able to work with other people. What other lessons have you learned about life from just being in that environment?
Lessons about life.
Yeah.
Ooh. There's a lot of hard work involved. If you want to get far, we always talk about, working smart. And yes, we should work smart, but that's superimposed upon working hard. You've got to work hard. If you work smart but don't work hard, not that you won't get anywhere, but you won't get as far as you maybe want to go. Got to work hard, always. And hard work does work. It does.
I like that. Because, there's there's a lot of people like these days who are like anti-hustle or against this culture, hustle culture, whatever.
Yeah, I understand. I understand where they're coming from. But gotta work hard. you want to and the thing is, if you want to do something great, depending on what your definition of great means, it often takes time, takes discipline, takes hard work. Sometimes it takes the sleepless night or two. That has to happen. It just is what it is. But the pain is temporary. And when you look back to the finished masterpiece, you're going to say, do you know what? That time I spent was worth it. And you do it again.
Yeah, exactly. But if you want to make an impact, which is what one of the what part of this podcast is about, if you want to make an impact in the world, it can't be rushed. Like, you're right, it takes time. It takes time. You have to be patient. Like, that's one of the things I'm learning is you have to be patient. And I'm a notoriously impatient person, so it can be difficult for me sometimes. But yeah, like, you can't rush the process. You can't cheat the process. There's no shortcuts to making an impact. Like, you've got to put in the hours, you've got to put in the work. There's no shortcut. But you have to work smart and do the right things. Up to this point in your life, would you say you've had a mission?
I'd say before the age of 18, I think my mission would have been just get to med school. That was all I was thinking about. Get to med school, try and get to med school, because there's a lot of, to be honest, I didn't really know all of the fine and cute details about getting into med school, but it's actually quite longer than you think. And it's very competitive, obviously. Since getting into med school, because that had been ticked off the list, I think for a time I kind of didn't know what my mission was. I was just kind of going through med school and doing that. I knew I was going to become a doctor. So that was that until 2020, until COVID.
Yeah.
That's when I had to sit down and say, look, this is just showing that life can have dramatic turns whenever, and you never know about them. So really and truly, what do you want to do? What is actually driving you to go and get what you want to get? What do you want to achieve? And I've had a long think about it. It's changed nearly every time. But I think if I was to encompass everything into one, I just want to say thank you. I want my life to say thank you to the people who have contributed to the person I am right now. Family, friends, colleagues, teachers, people that know me, people that don't know me, people that like me, people that don't like me, and also to God as well. That's the main overarching thing that keeps me awake, keeps me going, because you can have like your mission to be like a particular job, but then when your job goes, then what happens? It's kind of like, I told you I've been doing assignments, and you get that feeling once you finish your assignment, like, okay, what's next? Like, what do I do now? I don't know what to do with myself. And that's when I realized, when you do have missions or goals that are just purely focused on getting a work or position, if there isn't anything after that, or you don't have like an overarching goal, then you'll forget what you're doing next. And which is what happened to me as soon as I got into medicine. So I want to say thank you with my life, and the best way that I can do that is going for all of the dreams that I have. For example, if let's say, because I can speak French, so my French teacher teaching me French at school, all of that, me saying thank you to her is me becoming fluent at French, is me practicing the French. That is the evidence of me sticking to it. I like learning languages. I loved French language. I wanted to become fluent, and I've been doing it.
Okay, I like that. That's different, but I like the fact that it's focused on others, right? I think that's important for any kind of mission. It's focused on others. Like you want to say thank you to other people because they made an impact in your life. It's interesting as well. You say like that. What's next thing? Like as I was saying, if your mission isn't rooted in something greater than yourself, so whether that be other people, whatever it is, like it's like once you've accomplished that thing, you're just in the wind. Like life pushes you around because you don't have any direction.
Exactly.
And you see it so much. Like I've thought about this recently. Like I think it was the actor from The Wire, Michael. I think his name is Michael Smith or something. He played Omar in The Wire, and he died. And it was from like cocaine overdose, whatever. And like, that's sad and whatnot. But it's just like people who have a lot in this world, like they've made money, they've had fame and stuff, but they've still like killed themselves or they've been unhappy and stuff. And just like, I feel like it's important to recognize that your mission has to be rooted in something bigger than just money or achievements, because once you hit that, what next? Like, it doesn't make you happy, it doesn't fulfill you. And I think that's one thing I'm realizing is that as much as I strive, like I have to have something bigger, because like life is just like that. Like you just become very unhappy and like you're trying to avoid that situation, right?
Yeah, we naturally give ourselves a mental finish line. And this is something that David Goggins, I talk about David Goggins a lot. He's mentioned and talks about because with him, like so for anyone who doesn't know David Goggins, he is a retired Navy SEAL, and he's an ultra marathon runner, but has broken different records like pull-up competitions and all that stuff. And that guy, when he speaks about what he wants to do or why he does what he does, it's just he just wants to get better. He just wants to keep finding more of himself. It's for him. It's not about the winning. I just want to keep going. So when you hear stuff like, I'm gonna listen to a podcast, and he said that he ran 256 miles
That's
all at
crazy.
once. Now, I need to give a bit of context so that people understand how long 256 miles is. If you drive, you probably know how long 256 miles is. From where I live, Rockford, to Birmingham is 150 miles, more or less. So he basically ran from my house to Birmingham, halfway up England, then back halfway to about Northampton, all at once.
He didn't stop.
No, he didn't stop. And people ask him, why do you do this to yourself? And his response is, I want to improve. You're going to think this guy is absolutely crazy. Now, of course, David Goggins, I would say he's on a bit more of an extreme end of the spectrum. But still, he just wants to improve. Just a simple mindset like that. He just wants to improve, just wants to get better. And that causes him to continue pushing and to go forward. And to be honest, it's so admirable. It is so admirable. I talk about this guy so much. It's as if he paid me.
David Goggins needs to sponsor this Emeka guy. You put so many people onto David Goggins, it's unbelievable. You gotta stay hard.
Nah, stay hard. It's changing lives. It's changing lives, man, because it was actually during COVID. I don't know how I even found out about him, but I started listening to him. And that's when I started listening to him, smashed all the expectations and limitations that I had of myself. the things that I was going to do, I said, is this really what I want to do? Is there actually something that I actually want to do? Could I go further than this? After listening to David Goggins, that's when I started making those plans, making those thoughts about my life.
Yeah, man. I love it, man. He's competing against himself, right? It's getting better every day, pushing yourself just to be better, and that has no end, right?
No end.
That's no end. I think
No
if
end.
you are going to set a mission for yourself, let it be something that at least is perpetual, just continues, like, to do that, to be better than you were yesterday, to continue to be better, to continue to impact more people, to continue to be a better person, better family member, or whatever it is. Like, I think that's what a real mission is, you know. It has to be.
It's never ending. No mental finish line.
No mental finish line.
Hard to start, but it's hard to start with everything. But so long as you start building up the discipline, you'll get there.
How did you know you wanted to be a doctor? Where did the motivation for that mission come from?
I'd say a few places. I think number one, definitely my dad. My dad's a GP, and when I was younger, and maybe I fell over, bruised myself, had a fever or something, I would always go to my dad, and he was like my answer man. Like, he always knew what to do, and I could always come to him and say, you know, I have issues here, this, and you know, you don't really deep it until later on that, you know, I really liked that. I felt really secure and comfortable from what my dad was doing, and that obviously had an effect on me. But then there was also a time where I had an asthma attack. And I was rushed to hospital, and I remember they put me on oxygen. They put the oxygen probe on my finger. The reading was about 89, and I asked the doctor, and I said, you know, what's supposed to be a normal oxygen reading? He was like 94. At that point, I was going to die. You know.
How old were you at the time?
12 or 13.
Okay.
12 or 13. And he was just reassuring me during that time. I said, look, you'll be fine. You know, you're going to get better. My mom was there at the time. And honestly, yeah, I didn't feel panicked at all. And then obviously I started seeing the oxygen levels go up and this, and I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm on oxygen, but I'm fine. So, you know, after all of that, and I'd always particularly liked the sciences, biology and chemistry to be specific. I hated all the stuff to do with animals, and animals are calm, good, but it's not what I wanted to spend my life studying. All of the insects and stuff, leave that to the side. I preferred all of the human anatomy and biology and chemistry. So medicine was always a choice there for me, and I wanted to go for it.
So it was from that experience in childhood, like having that first-hand, like direct impact from a doctor in real life, and seeing the impact that they could have on an individual.
Yeah, definitely, yeah, man. And I love my work experience as well. Work experience and just seeing how, you know, doctors interact with patients, and you know, patients, you know, really coming and trusting their doctors because they're in need, and doctors doing the best that they can, and just seeing all that interaction, everything was just like, yeah. There was a point where I was torn between economics and medicine.
That's a bit of a...
Yeah, they're different, yeah. I think with economics, it was just something that I was good at. You worked hard, you were good at it, but I didn't have a genuine passion to go into it. So medicine it was. And voila.
Are you happy with your choice?
Oh, definitely.
That's good.
I do not regret my choice.
That's good.
Don't. Very, very happy.
That's good. Yeah, but I think it makes sense also, like, if you are looking for a mission or something like that, I think looking back to childhood and your experiences and who's impacted you, and what do you remember, like what made you feel like, who did you look up to, who had an impact on you, and like you wanted to be like them or whatever, like.
I agree, yeah. Because when we're children, we soak up anything, you know, so even if you don't feel like you're being influenced by someone, you are. Well, yeah, even in today's day, somebody has your ear. Somebody, whether it's listening to podcasts or YouTube videos or even just people in groups. But when you're a child, the impact and experiences of other people, they will play a big factor in the way that you see things. Obviously, things can change. But for me, I'd say I was a bit fortunate, I'd say, because my dad was a GP or is a GP, still working. And all of those experiences and, sciences and I just feel like, because for medicine you pick your career quite early. You pick it quite early. And for a lot of people, they don't know what they want to do. And that's fair. Like we've been presented with so many different choices. And there's so many ways to even get to the same choice, same professions. So I'd say I was a bit fortunate that, I've gone into medicine and I do want to do medicine. So
So what do you think about like you finding something or your mission quite early in life, or knowing you want to be a doctor from young? I think sometimes I've seen people who have that situation and they kind of like were young, maybe 10, 11, and they was like, okay, I want to be a doctor. And then you go through your whole teenage years and everything, and that's what you want to do. And you kind of block out everything else. I mean, you kind of said you kind of dabbled in economics a bit and that, but like, let's say some people just go straight all the way through and it's like you get to 18, 19, 20, you graduate and now like you're a doctor, but you never kind of question. I'm sure there's people in your course maybe like that, but you never kind of question what you wanted to do along the way, and then you kind of get there and realize it's not all it's cracked up to be, and you kind of now think, what do I do with myself? Like, do you kind of understand that, or you have anybody who's ever been through that, or like?
Of course I understand that, because particularly with medicine, you pick very early. You have no idea what it will be like as a doctor. Even when you are in placement, right? You're shadowing, you're watching other professionals do their job. And sometimes I've seen wards go a bit manic. And I'm just standing there like, wow. Oh, I'm kind of happy I don't have to make this decision. Yeah. But I could imagine doctors are in that position that are really pressured. But for us, you never really know what it's like until you're there. And for medicine, because it's so demanding and there's so much you have to do just to prepare for medicine, it's very easy to block everything out. But people's views change. People's wants change for life. Maybe it's not something that you are actually particularly interested in. I know people who did all the work, got into medicine, first year dropped out, did something else. I know people who have got to the end and they already have plans to go into something else, consulting, investment banking, this. I would always say, look, do what you want, because you only live once, and you shouldn't be held by the shackles of, for example, guilt of leaving the NHS. I think you'll always see being a doctor as like a really rewarding and cherishing thing to do, because you're typically helping people that are in need. And I mean, even look at COVID and how everyone was coming outside and clapping for the NHS and saying NHS healthcare staff are heroes, that kind of stuff. So they will always have a good rep, and maybe that is something that you might see and say, yeah, medicine is for me. But you will never know how difficult it is until you're up front and working and have to make the decisions.
Yeah, you never know what anything is like until you do it, right?
Yeah.
Like in that kind of goes for any career, but for medicine, where the time investment is so much up front, it's like it's even more of like a. At the end of the day, like it's kind of life is like that. You have to move forward in some direction, and then eventually you keep moving until you find the path that you're supposed to be on. Right? Sometimes you might get to the end of medicine and realize that it's not for you, but you've got all of that behind you now, and you can move into an adjacent path and find something that's still effective in that area, but maybe not being on the wards or doing something like that.
Yeah, man, I see it as kind of like walking through a fog. You're trying to get to a destination, but from afar you don't know what you're looking at until you keep walking closer. You have a clearer image. You just say, this wasn't what I thought it was from 10 or 20 meters back. And then you choose where you want to go. You choose how you want to do it. You don't have to stay in the wards to be a doctor. There are doctors that are proficient outside of the wards. Those are in research. Those that are running charities. Those that are, maybe in government. Those that are in management. Like, you need all of those parts together because they all help to contribute to impacting people, improving health.
Yeah, for sure, exactly. It's just so many ways you can make an impact with that knowledge and backing. See, I think it's just important. Like, I want to encourage everyone to like think critically about what you're doing, and like not feel like just because you've started doing something you have to follow it through and just take the conventional path. Like, be critical, think about what suits you and what you want to do, and like ask questions, talk to people in your industry, but figure out different ways you can, do what you're good at or do things you want to do. Like, it's not a linear path.
No, take the time to think.
Yeah.
That was one of the great things about me doing this year out. So this year out means that I'm like a typical uni student. I'm not on the wards. Means I get a lot more free time than I ever would as a medical student.
Yeah.
So you have that time to think that sometimes you might not do within medicine because there's so much to do, or even when you are working. There's a lot of, I would suspect that there's a lot to do and time, a lot of time is being spent.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when you do get opportunities to think, take them.
I think you're saying like you took the year out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a big proponent of that. Like, even after I graduated as well, I took a year off. I didn't go straight into work or whatever, and just like finding out what I wanted to do, like looking into things that I just found interesting and just like not having that pressure, just like thinking about what I want for myself. Like, you dive into a job sometimes and it's like you're working for someone else. You're building someone else's mission, someone else's vision. And it's like you don't even have time to think about what you want, what impact you want to make. So I think obviously I understand that not everyone can even do that. Like, everyone's got different situations, and I know there's a lot of people who can't even have to go straight to work because they have responsibilities and obligations and everything. So like, it's not saying for everyone, but I think if you have the opportunity to, then I feel like just don't just follow the path and just be on autopilot. Like, think about what you want from life. Right?
Because you'll be 20, blink, and you'll be 60.
Oh, time goes quickly.
Yes.
24 this year?
Yes, it's crazy.
17 feels like it was just yesterday.
It's crazy, and I don't want to be someone that is looking back and saying, if only that has to be bad for my vocabulary. So make the choices that you want, take back control of your life in the way that you want it, and live.
So I think it's like, as you get older, what you're going to regret, if you like, what you're more likely to regret is the things you didn't do. So I think that's important for us to bear in mind, that like all the things you're saying you want to do, I want to do it tomorrow. Oh, don't worry, I'll do it tomorrow or next week or the week after. Like, eventually, time catches up with you.
Then you're 60.
And then your regrets are, I wish I had
I wish I had
taken that risk. And there's this, I think this Jeff Bezos framework is like regret minimization. So if I make a decision today, I cast my mind to when I'm 80. And I think when I'm 80, if I look back at this decision I'm making, is it something that I'm going to regret not doing or regret doing? And that's then the basis that you use to make that decision. And that's a powerful framework for you to try and minimize that regret going forward. What do you think?
You say the Jeff Bezos framework?
Yeah, I think Jeff Bezos was the one who talked about it or said it or something.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, bro. I think a lot of things are, like I said before, like planning long haul. And really and truly, if we looked at where we wanted to be in the next 5 or 10, and we were more future focused, but also making sure you're present in today's day, because you can't be too focused on the future that you don't enjoy what's happening today.
Yeah, exactly.
But making sure you have those plans will help to guide intentional decisions and help to justify whether the decisions are worth taking, good or not. Otherwise, you end up wasting time. Wasting other people's times, and what eventually you want to do. I honestly do think that anybody can achieve the dreams that they want to. The difference between I think the main reason why we don't get them done is discipline. There are plenty of distractions. I don't think there is a lack of. I don't think there is a lack of dreams. I think there are just loads of distractions that hold us so that we can't focus properly. If you can focus, you'd be amazed. Even if you can focus for 3 months properly, 3 months will change your life. 3 months, 6 months will change your life, and will actually give you the foundation to continue going for the next 2 or 3 years, just by focusing for 6 months. The kind of habits you build up. So
Yeah.
future focused, present today.
Yeah, exactly, man. You can only take action today. You can only take action today, like, you have the present, the time is now, right? So it's a case of dreams and ideas are in abundance. They don't count for much. It's important for you to have them because that's an expression of who you are. But at the same time, action is the only thing that counts. So at the end of the day, that's the only thing that's remembered. That's the only thing that counts. So it's like, take the action. Like, just
take the action. That's why I said the main, my overarching, I guess, purpose for my life is to say thank you. That's coming from a position of gratitude. I want to make the best opportunity of the things that I've got. So even this time that I'm on this podcast, I'm trying to give the best podcast that I can. Why? Because after this day, we might do another podcast. Might be here, might be in a different location. But this podcast isn't happening again. This
exact one,
This exact one isn't happening again. It's done after this. So enjoy it. So I look back and say, that was a good podcast.
Nah, for real. Like, you're right. Like, you have to enjoy it. Like, you have to enjoy the moment. Like, all things said and done. Like, whatever you're doing, like, you can't take it too seriously. Life is just gotta enjoy. You just gotta enjoy what you're doing, man. Find some way to enjoy it. In your experience, so you've had some experience in the hospital, right? You worked in hospital. Did you do like a year? Was one of your years in the hospital?
Yeah, so I'd say most of our experience has been starting from 3rd year onwards.
Okay.
Yeah, that's our clinical years.
The clinical years. Yeah, what was it like, I guess, that transition from going from day-to-day study into being in the hospital and seeing those interactions?
It was tough. It was weird. We hadn't experienced it. Going from, just seeing friends, lectures, normal student life, and then shipped into hospitals, and then everything's manic, and you don't know where you're going, now it's all very formal. You're, I guess, the trainee, walking around, following doctors around, trying to get all of these skills and competencies signed off. Speaking to patients, trying to know what to do, walking around big hospitals, very confusing. But you usually get there. It's like with anything, you start gym and it's tough. You don't know what to do. But nowadays, like when I started 3rd year, didn't know what I was doing, I'll be honest with you. For like half of the year, didn't know what I was doing. Didn't know what I was doing. But 4th year, I was like, that was the first year I was like, I actually feel like I am moving as a doctor. I'm getting there. I actually feel like I'm getting there. It's good to just acclimatise to the environment.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing to note though. I think for anyone in any field, like when you first start, you're an outsider. Like you're not. You don't know the way people interact within the field. You don't know all the rules. You don't know. You're still a beginner, right? I think you kind of have to be happy being a beginner and accept that you don't know stuff, and then just have that beginner's mindset and just continue to learn, and not try to expect too much of yourself at the beginning whilst you're doing something, right?
I always like to see it as like having faith like a child. Just like how we mentioned before, children just take things up like a sponge. Always be ready to learn. Always ready to, or particularly for me, if I'm going to be the one making them decisions and taking responsibility, you have to learn. That's going to be you, and enjoy the process whilst learning. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, so have you done any do you have any interaction with patients one-to-one?
Yeah, of course.
So what was that like? Go on.
At first, it's difficult. No, to be fair, sometimes at first it's not really difficult to be fair, because you can, it's just having like normal conversation with patients, just seeing how they're doing. A lot of patients actually, they just love having a chat with you because some are quite lonely, maybe because the hospital staff are quite busy. There isn't enough time to spend with them all the time. So just having a chat with them is nice, and seeing how they're doing. But then obviously there are certain skills that we need to learn about, taking histories. If you have chest pain, there are particular things we need to ask about chest pain and that kind of thing. Sometimes at the beginning it's difficult to, start getting more streamlined, shall I say, as opposed to having like a general conversation about anything, just trying to make sure you get the important facts and being able to weave your way through the conversation so that you're paying attention to the things that can help you get to a diagnosis. So yeah, I think that's where the difficult bit comes in. But like I said, you soon develop those skills the more histories you take.
Yeah. Like remember you got a job to do, right?
Yeah. Like you're learning. You're on the job, you're learning. But I think now that you're a medical student, go just talk to a patient, man. Like, it's like just seeing someone on the road and just having a chat with them.
Yeah.
Honestly.
That's cool. So do you feel like you're able to, even at this stage, you're able to make an impact in your role?
Yeah. Even for something as simple as, a patient wants a glass of water, or a glass of water, or maybe you see that a patient's food is too far away for them to reach, you just push it to them, stay with them, talk to them. You don't necessarily have to get stethoscopes out and do all of this stuff. But it's seeing people as people at the end of the day, and all of those things, they can mean a lot more than having to take blood and those kind of stuff. So yeah,
I hear a lot of doctors, or some doctors, or people who've left medicine. They often, one of the reasons is often like, as a doctor, you can make a heavy, like, the depth of your impact is more. So you can make a one-to-one impact with someone, like, because you're working directly with patients.
Yeah.
But then you're only impacting maybe one person, or one person at a time, or like, the scale of your impact is a lot smaller. So that's a common reason, but like, I guess for you, like, how do you see it? Do you see it as important that you're impacting loads of people, or is kind of the depth of your impact to one person more important?
Kind of depends on what you want, to be fair. Many people love their job. Many people love the intimate patient interaction and helping patients one by one. Other people love looking at how we can improve things regionally, nationally, internationally. For me, I kind of like a bit of both, because at the end of the day, you're impacting people. I would say that I'm more of a people person, so I'd always prefer or like to speak with patients. But when you realise how much impact you can have for a lot of people, you can go down that route as well. So I'd keep both of them open.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. In an ideal world, right, you kind of do both, and then you kind of skew towards one or the other depending on your personality, right?
Yeah, because soon enough, I think if you're going to, it's better to go all in on something. You could juggle and do both of them at the same time, but I would say you're probably going to be more effective doing one.
Yeah, that's very true as well. To be focused on something.
Yeah.
I guess you had a career is a long time, right?
Exactly. So you have the time to kind of dabble around. Maybe you've done the population projects for a while. You come back, you want to do more patient interaction. Think, okay, yeah, I've done that now. Let's go back to that. Mix and match.
Is having a mission, is that important to you?
I think it is. I think it's important because it keeps you focused. It gives you a standard to compare against, so that when you are making decisions, then it helps to see, is this actually going to help me get towards what I want to do or not? So yeah, it keeps you focused, it keeps you disciplined. Because you can only be disciplined when you have a standard for something or a goal for something. So yeah, I think it is important.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's focus really. I think we spoke about this before, like, if you don't have that focus, that mission, like, what is guiding you, then when the wind blows in life, it's gonna
You
blow
go
you
with it.
off.
Yeah,
Right.
go with it.
Just be going with the wind. And that's dangerous, right? That's how you end up being 60 years old and then not knowing how you got where you are. That's not our portion.
No, we don't want that. We don't want that. No.
So yeah, but I mean, if you want to share, do you have a mission at the moment? What's your mission going forward now?
My missions are quite generic for now. I kind of have ideas of how I might make them a bit more specific to what I want to do.
Yeah.
But number one, I want to esteem and encourage people in good health. Number two, I want to be a man for all people. Both of them sound quite generic. The reason why I want to esteem people in good health is, look man, I want to see people recover. I want to see people improve. I want to see people grow. Yes, that can be in anything, but with my interest, I'd like to see people grow in their health. You know, whether that means, you know, keeping fit, or if it means, you know, making sure you're going to see a doctor, or, you know, those kind of things. A man for all people, I want to be an example for people. Tough being an example. I want to be someone who, if you have an issue, you could easily come and talk to me about it. But also, I want to be someone who can join different groups of people. That's why I like languages. I've already mentioned that I can speak French, but I'm currently learning Japanese as well. In fact, one of my goals in life is to become a polyglot. Someone that can speak at least 4 languages. So I have a long road ahead of me for the languages, and it's going to be part of how I bridge between different people groups.
Okay, I like that. So if you claim you can speak French, that's a claim right now. You have to prove that. You have to prove it.
What do you want me to say?
Repeat your missions in French.
My mission?
Yeah.
Ok, pas de problème. Alors, tout d'abord, je voudrais être un homme pour tous. Et aussi, je voudrais encourager les gens pour améliorer leur santé. Tu vois ce que je dis?
You're just showing up. You're just showing up. I said repeat your mission. This guy's going talking over, man. But that's sweet though. That's sweet. Like it's impressive. That's good. I mean, obviously I can't verify that what you said was anything other than
next time we'll have someone in the background.
Yeah, exactly.
Verify that.
Exactly. So I mean, if you speak French, you can verify what he was telling me to suck my mum or.
No, man. But you wouldn't know though.
I wouldn't know exactly. I wouldn't know. So, anyways, yeah, that's cool though. Like I like those missions. Again, like it being other focused is powerful. I mean, it just like that's the crucial part to me. I feel to being fulfilled or to seeking that level of fulfillment in life, like being focused on impacting others. Like I think that's important. And yeah, like esteeming people. You said esteeming people in good health.
Yes, towards good health. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even though like you said, it might be a bit vague or whatever, but I think it's when you have a mission, like it's kind of good for it to kind of be like quite open, to give you the flexibility to, you know, you can do a lot of things under that. It guides you to doing whatever it is that is impactful. So
exactly.
Yeah,
and you mentioned about the impact, focusing on other people.
Yeah.
For me, I thought about this maybe about 2 weeks ago. Thinking to myself, I don't think I'll be okay just becoming successful, you know. As I said before, I'm very grateful for the experiences, wisdom, skills that I've gained and how other people have contributed to my life. That it makes me want to give back. Do you understand? I wouldn't be okay just succeeding and then just, you know, counting the cash, this, all of that. No. What's the fun if you make money, you can't break it with your people?
Preach.
What's the fun if you can't enjoy it with the people that helped you get there? I mean, even if many people are supporting me, I wouldn't be where I am or where I would be had it not been for people supporting me. I want to give back, you know? So that's why a lot of them, it's not just going to be me just do what I want to do, then this. No. We have to give back. We have to. That is gratitude. That's me saying thank you. Yes. That's me saying thank you.
No, I like that. I like that. Yeah, that's definitely for me as well. I've been thinking on the same things recently, and definitely something that I'm trying to do more and more going forward. Especially, it's just like I think I've realized that like when it's all said and done, like there's a certain amount of money, of course. Like I'm all for helping yourself. Like you need to make sure you're good as well. Like I don't think you should just like forget about yourself and be. I mean, you can if you want to. I mean, it's just me personally. Like I want to take care of myself as well, my family and people around me. But I think there's just a cut off. Like, and there's studies out there that show this. Like, money is diminishing in utility. As in, the more money you get, it doesn't increase your utility. After a certain point,
here for about 8K, isn't it?
Around 8K.
Around 8K.
Very depending on person to person.
Oh yeah, true.
And where you live and stuff. This gets to the point where I feel like, and you see this a lot in people who are successful and wealthy. Like, it gets to the point where they eventually do begin to start. Okay, I have all this money. Like, I need to give it away. I need to do stuff with it. Like, I can't just keep it all to myself.
Yeah, that's why the top hobby of people who are rich is philanthropy.
True. Exactly. I think it's just a reminder. Like, I think your legacy and your impact in this world is going to be the things that you did, the people you impacted, not the amount of money you made or what car you drove, what clothes you wear, because you're wearing Gucci. People, nobody's going to remember that you were Gucci, nobody's going to care. Like, when it's all said and done, like, nobody's going to care. And I feel like, just deep in that, like, has been powerful to me, like, I'm readjusting what I want for my life, And I think the one way I've thought about it recently has been like, take someone who's made an impact in the world, like Michael Jackson, for example, made a huge impact through his music. Like people love this guy, like to a different,
and rightly so,
and right to a different level. Like his music has made an impact on generation after generations, but it's like nobody, like he's not remembered for the amount of money he made. Nobody knows how much money he made. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that he had a big house. People care about his music, the impact that he made through his music. I think even if he had died a broke man, people would still remember him.
Yeah.
People still love him and remember him for what he did. And I think that's the impact part, right? And that's what we should be chasing, is the impact. Like, how many lives can you touch? How many people can you bless with what you do whilst you're on this earth? Like, because that's what's going to be remembered. I mean, it's not for everyone. I mean, if that's not what you want, that's not what you want.
Yeah, man. You know, it's interesting when we always talk about being remembered. I kind of see it as like trying to hold on to a form of immortality. And it's interesting because we have to also be a bit careful, because you may decide, okay, I want to do this so that I can be this guy. You can remember me for this guy. I did this, and actually do actions that you actually don't want to do, or it's not actually coming from your own values, from how you want to impact. You're just doing it because you just want to do it. And that's not genuine. Let it be authentic. Let it come from you. What do you enjoy doing? How can you use your interests to benefit not just yourself but other people? And I think in that way the authenticity just shines through. It's the same thing as saying, okay, cool, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a dentist or whatever. Do you actually want to do it though? Exactly. Because when you want to do it, you will be a better doctor or dentist or whatever job you want to do.
Yeah, bro, that's such an important point. And that's why it sums up what this podcast is about, and why recently, what the aim of this podcast is to talk about mission and impact. Because I think those are the two key ingredients. Like I was saying, if you just chase impact, you forget the mission part. What is it that you want? Like, what is your mission? What are your values? Like, where are you going? And out of that mission is how you make the impact. And out of that, it's like you're not striving to be remembered. But you have the mission, you made the impact, you are remembered. Yeah. It's like that. So it's exactly what you're saying. Like, those two parts of that ingredient are crucial. You can't do one without the other. You can't have a mission with no impact. You can't have dreams and no action. Do you get me? You can't have action with no mission, because that's going to lead to unfulfillment. And that's a really, really good point. Like, you need to have both. and they need to work in tandem
Mm.
and work with each other.
Said it, man. You said it.
Yeah, so do you know what? I think that's a good place to end. There's way more to talk about, but
We'll have many
This
conversations.
was
This won't be the
man.
first time here. This
No,
is
of
just part
course
one,
not.
man.
But man, yeah, this was a very good conversation. I
Yeah,
enjoyed
I
this.
enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed it.
Thank you guys for listening. Let's wrap up here. And yeah, I mean, follow us on social media, 20 at 20pod on Instagram. Let's shout out or plug something that's made an impact in your life recently. Institution, a group, anything, product, whatever it is.
Ooh, just anything that's made an impact.
Yeah, something that you've been, yeah, this has been added value to my life.
Does it have to be recent?
No.
If anything, if it's not my dad, I'd definitely say my tutor, her name is Sarah.
Mm.
When I started clinical work in third year, I think she's an exemplary doctor. She's looking to become a surgeon. She's going to be a great surgeon, very, very great surgeon. And do you know what it is? There was a time where I didn't really know what I was doing. I was kind of getting a bit lazy, a bit complacent. She pulled me to the side and she was one of the first tutors that was like, "You are going to be a great doctor." She pulled me to the side and said that to me. And it was like, right, like she is actually pushing for me to be better than I am. And she could see the potential. So, yeah, man. I don't know how she's doing. I hope she's doing well, but I know she's going to be an absolutely great doctor. Great one, so.
Yeah. That's amazing. We all need those people in our lives, and we need to be those people for other people as well too. So encourage the people around you, and yeah, just keep pushing. But yeah, thank you, Emeka, for coming on.
Anytime, man.
Appreciate it. Very well spoken.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you guys for listening.
See you in a bit.
Cool.